In the land of dreams, beyond the knowledge of mortal man, you may find the fragments of silicon.
All right, welcome to a new installment of Fragments of Silicon. Forgive the earliness of our start time this week. Okay, well, long story short, we had a bit of a guest juggle, let's call it, shortly before the show was slated to go to broadcast. And well, the end result is we have a new representative from Whitethorn Games here, one Mystic Kitteh. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can also call
Right.
me Misty if you want.
All right. Fair enough. Well, I suppose we should start things by getting to know you a bit. Um, I suppose the first question is what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and a professional level?
Personally, I've always been playing games. My very first memory is actually playing Super Mario Brothers 3 with my grandma. um, and I would just play games with my brothers all the time. If I'm not working, I'm playing games. Um,
Right.
Work-wise, BU is the one that introduced me to Whitethorn Games and helped me start my career as a community manager.
Okay. And did you have experience in the industry beforehand?
Kind of. I was a partner manager for a streamer back on Mixer. I would help manage all of his tweets, Discord channel, when he should go live, figure out what games would work best to get the most viewers,
Hmm.
everything.
I mean,
He was the talent. I was the back end.
right, right. And I suppose an interceding question here is how is working at Whitethorn compared to, well, that streaming management?
It's actually very similar. Um, it translated over pretty well. Whitethorn, though, we have a lot of games, so it's a lot more to track. But at least I have some knowledge of what's going on.
That's always helpful. Um, and how long have you been at Whitethorn?
uh, about a few months now.
Ah, uh, sounds like you're enjoying your experience so far. Like,
Yes. Um, I'll be moving over to the headquarters to get more hands-on with everything in October. Until then, I'll just be handling the socials for now.
uh, yeah. Once again, it's a bit of a precarious position we are here in tonight because some of the games that we were planning on talking about we can still talk about, but we can't get into detail because she lacks the foreknowledge of it. But I suppose in regards to things we can talk about first, I suppose we can start with Calico. Um, I know that Calico has come out, a few months beforehand, but the thing about Calico is it's about to get its Japanese release. If the
Yes.
trailer I saw today was accurate, like,
hmm
so what? How much involvement do you have with Calico?
With the team, I just help them with the socials, like Discord sometimes, or if we need
Right. Right. So
anything on the back end.
sorry. Once again, like questions are were kind of geared towards other people. so it's
No
kind of hard
worries.
to just on the fly. But um, anyway, I guess for the uninitiated, what is Calico?
Calico is a game where you run a little cat cafe. There's magical girls everywhere, and there's lots of really cute creatures, and you can make them bigger and you can ride them. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I believe we reviewed Calico at the start of the season. Like, it was interesting, you know, solid in some ways, though I couldn't ignore some of the technical hitches that were going on there. Though, uh, you know, still, it's good to see that it is getting a localization. Like, and I guess pressing forward, um, the next game that is being released by Whitethorn is the Beasts of Maravilla Island.
Yes,
You know,
it's supposed to be coming out this month.
do we have a exact date on that yet?
Not yet, but soon.
Okay, right. And once again, what is the Beasts of Maravilla Island?
So you play as this girl, and you have a camera with you, and you're trying to get evidence of the island, of all the magical creatures on it, because your grandfather would tell you stories about this magical island, and you wanted to show it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you have a little journal, and you can just write all the notes in it. So it's like Pokemon Snap, but you can walk around.
Yeah, I think Matt and BU described it as such, a few months ago. Like, and suppose the question here is, what might set this apart from Pokemon Snap, especially since we got new Pokemon Snap out in the wild?
Well, the biggest difference between the two is definitely that Pokemon Snap is on rails and everything's timed. And
Mm-hmm.
with Beast, there's no timer. You can take your time and take the photos however you want.
Okay.
There's also a completely different story.
I mean, that makes sense to a certain extent. Um, though, I suppose getting into it a bit more, how does the free roam work exactly? Are you on foot? Are you in a vehicle of some kind?
You can,
Uh,
you're on foot. You're walking around the whole time.
okay, so that means theoretically you could move around the creature and get different angles.
Yes.
You know, like, and I mean at your own pace. I know that's a thing in Pokemon Snap as well, but you're once again on rails, so that is part of the subtler form of challenge in that game, making sure you keep things centered while adjusting. Um, and I suppose that gets into the focus of intent, like a better term here. Let's say you're taking pictures of these creatures to prove that they exist, but are you under the same parameters as like Pokemon Snap? Like, do you have to get the best picture available? It's all centered, and they're doing actions, stuff like that.
No, it's up to the player to decide if they like their photos the most or not.
Okay. Uh, the picture I'm getting here is something a bit more casual focused than Pokemon Snap. As weird as that is to say out loud.
That is that is weird to say out loud, actually.
Well,
Something more casual than Pokemon.
but it's nonetheless true because, Galax, do you have new Pokemon Snap?
I do, though I have not gotten all the way through it yet.
Well, this is more a question. Does that have leaderboards?
Kind of.
Hmm.
I don't know if there are I think the leaderboards on like a per stage level are only unlocked after you finish the game for the first time, but even from the beginning, your total album score is compared either with everybody online or with your friends.
Right. See, that's kind of what I'm talking about here. There's still that, it's not it's not a hugely competitive bent, but it's still there. Um,
Oh yeah, and
and
it's
even
obviously if you're not playing like super hardcore, you're not going to get anywhere near the top.
right, and even the original Pokemon Snap had that element. Certainly less, but you still had to get a good enough score to unlock items and further stages.
Yeah.
Um, and in regards to Maravala Island here, are there, you to take pictures, do you unlock anything? Do you upgrade? Do you do any of that kind of video gamey stuff?
Um, I believe it's just for achievements. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Like, fair enough, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, since, well, once again, it sounds like Maravilla Island is going for relaxing, you know, which is definitely a case. That's definitely a thing that I see in a lot of Whitethorn, not necessarily developed, but published things going back to Calico. For those who are not familiar with Calico, same kind of structure here. Calico is a very, very even by casual games, very casual. There are things to unlock. There are, you know, just like the baseline video game stuff, but they're not difficult to tackle. It's all very relaxed. Um, but anyway, shifting a bit here, um, can you like detail who the protagonist is, who the um, what kind of creatures are on this island?
Um, so I can give you a little bit of information on the creatures on the first level of the island. You'll find creatures like beetles and like grasshoppers. You can also find some really interesting birds. Like the most famous one that we have is the banana bird. So it's like a banana peel, and uh, I wish I could show y'all a photo, but you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think we were ever given the code of this game at any point, so definitely.
I
Uh,
believe the demo's out currently. There's a new updated one that was, well, I don't know if I can say new. It was updated in February.
I mean, that was only a few months ago, but anyway, now getting back to the whole photography thing, do you get items that can interact with the creatures like Pokemon Snap? No.
There is some things you can do to interact with the creatures. You are able to whistle at them, and it'll make them do different things. Uh, some will just look at you, some might dance, some might sing back. You'll just have to see once you get to play it. Um, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And I suppose in regards to the release date, uh, is that going to be announced here soon, like at E3?
All I can say is soon.
Fair enough. Fair enough, I suppose. Um, let's see. I guess moving down the list a bit, Witchwood. Um, like I said, what can you tell us about Witchwood?
um, so Witchwood we've been keeping a little bit more on the download. We'll have more information for that soon enough.
Okay.
Surprisingly, though, it is one of our most interest. We had a little survey recently,
Hmm.
and Witchwood was one of our most highly anticipated games.
No doubt, no doubt. Um, and I guess moving on a bit, Teacup. Um, like I said, you know, I know it's a bit vexing, but the knowledge base here is getting more and more limited. Is there anything that can be mentioned about Teacup at this point in time?
What would you like to know about Teacup?
Well, what is Teacup? Like beyond like does the name have an actual bearing on what's going on here? Like, is
Oh,
Teacup relevant?
okay. So Teacup is the name of the main character, uh,
Mm,
which is, and Teacup is wanting to host a tea party with her friends, and she finds out she's all out of tea, and her party's coming up within the next day. So she goes on a journey to go find the tea that she needs to have the party.
right. And it's hard to like is there a certain amount of time there, or is it another very casual, you can do it at your own pace, a game?
You could just do it at your own pace. All of our games are meant to be very casual. We don't want to cause much stress for any of our gamers.
That's fair enough. um anyway, let's see, shifting down the list, Princess Farmer. So this one's an interesting one, especially since it's Pride Month now. This is one I was hoping to talk about in more detail, but uh, such is life. But for the uninitiated, like, this is a weird combination of genres because, yeah, it's, well, just the description. It's visual novel meets match three gameplay, and like it interests me just in that regard, but it's also, you are a magical bunny farmer who, you know, has to match things up to grow vegetables.
Mhm.
Like, you know, and any updates on this one?
Do you know any other information besides what you just said?
uh, Once again, apologies. Um, I suppose adjusting things. What other games can you talk to us about in the here and now?
I mean, I could talk a little bit about Princess Farmer. I was just wondering what
Well,
info you were looking for.
once again, it's hard to know, um, because once again, you mentioned before the show started that you only have general information about this game. So the kind,
I've played the demo and I watch over the socials, so I know as much as what's been given to the public.
okay, um, see, like, I would want to know why rabbits as opposed to any other kind of creature. But
Uh, the devs just really liked rabbits. She just wanted to draw a rabbit. That's really the reason.
fair,
Originally, it was going to be dogs, I believe, but then they switched it.
yeah, hmm, fair enough. Well, anyway, I see that it's been about a half an hour. Um, so we will conclude things here. Once again, my apologies for the specific circumstances that landed us here. But hopefully we can have you back on the program, in November. When you get updated on everything.
Yeah, possibly. Just make sure you email us and we'll try to get something set up.
No problem, no problem. But in the meantime, thank you for taking time out of your schedule and being here with us. And hopefully, um, everything releases on time and all that. And Petty, play us to the next segment. So normally this is where we would shift into the topic of discussion, but since we had to start with the interview, it's time for the news. I suppose starting off this week, we Max here, so he can talk about why he wasn't here last week.
Unless Mac's been swallowed by the void.
Possibly.
It is a hungry void.
I suppose in lieu of that, Petty.
Not a whole lot's been going on. I do have a new headset coming that should be ready for me to pick up on Saturday, so that's nifty. And yeah, just been kind of really chill lately.
Well, that's good. Anything else?
Not that I can think of, honestly.
All right. Alex?
Temperatures have been seesawing like whoa around here lately, so dealing with that's been a little bit frustrating. My Pathfinder group actually started up a week early because everybody was done with there are a couple of people who are trying to find a new place to live, and also they haven't been vaccinated because one of them's afraid of needles, I think. So they can't join us for about a month, so we're doing a short interim adventure dealie of some sort. So everybody was ready for that. So we started a week early. So that was it was nice to be back with that, but also it's having the three things, that and the MS Saga playthrough and the reviews on Sunday is definitely busy, and I was glad to have an extra day to recover, so we'll figure out how I'm going to deal with that going forward. Nothing urgent, just something I need to figure out.
You've mentioned that before.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Otherwise, not a whole lot going on.
Okay.
I've been trying to actually make some progress in Age of Calamity because I haven't played as much of several of the games I have as I feel like I should have, so I picked that one first.
Twilight?
Let's see now. Well, over the weekend, we made a temporal backslide into early spring, where it was nice and chilly for a few days there, thanks to some rain Friday. Well, alas, it's slowly fade away. But anyway, so at work, we're been easing into a sense of normalcy now. Unless something happened. Yeah, things are kind of getting back to normal. We was wearing some, allowed to wear some uniform shirts that showing the support for the um, battle against COVID. But starting starting Monday, yeah, Monday. we now have to go back to wearing our normal uniforms. Kind of a shame, honestly. I actually liked them. They was a lot more comfortable to wear than the polos we have. But anyway, they've arranged tables in the cafeteria to be much closer together now, and though they're not quite finished with that yet, and we're gonna have to do some work on it. It's kind of messy looking right now. Um, yeah, the sense of normalcy. I'm have to see tomorrow, since there'll be the 2 week period if that's gonna stick.
Yar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh God, he lives.
All
But
right.
yeah, besides that, let's see here. Yeah, I got my seatbelt buckle fixed, thankfully. There's that. And let's see. There's a few other things, but instead of just rambling, basically, the landlady came to visit and looking around to check on everything, see how things are going, and yeah, uh, she's approving of I've kept things up here and such. And there's that, and yeah. Well, anyway, gaming wise, been Mac and Kira and I have are continuing the Monday sessions of Overwatch, and
And delirium.
yeah, pretty much that's how Monday was. Complete and utter chaos.
We
It was fun, though.
we did Mystery Heroes, which
Uh-huh.
is the game randomly selects a hero for us. Every time we die, we come back as somebody different.
Mm-hmm. A nice
So sometimes,
opportunity.
so tanks, DPS, support, Pandelirium.
Yeah, it was a nice change of the usual, to be honest.
Much more laughs, a lot less tears, and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, I also got an opportunity to try other heroes out that normally wouldn't try out. With some positive results on my side, at least. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was that, and been playing some of the game I have for this Sunday, and yeah, that'll be about it for me.
Okay.
All right. Mac.
Yeah. Well, yeah, aside from being $600 in the hole and then getting my COVID shot and then not being able to work, and then yeah, that was a good weekend of me laying on my back or being on the toilet. So
Fun.
Mm,
yeah, overall it was fantastic. And then we lost. We lost. I'm so far in the basement now on support, I can't call back out before the end of the season.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I know I'm below 300 now. They don't calculate your rank, your player rank, below 500. So it just says under 500. But we lost like 6-7 matches in a row on Tuesday,
Fun.
and we just had toxic cancer groups all around. So that was the high point of the weekend was pretty much MS Saga.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get to start Dragon Guard 3. That will start this week. And the Mercadian Affair film is back in production, and I actually have an active call sheet in front of me for all of the actors to make sure we can actually finish this goddamn movie.
Sometime before the death of the universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's only been 6 years. First it was an audiobook, then it was a motion comic, then it was a animated series motion comic, and then it was a full movie. Well, actually, it was a full movie before it was a motion comic series, and then now it's a movie again. And there was talk about it being a radio drama and a novel. And my artist died, so that was uplifting. Now I found the perfect artist for the comic series, and then in the middle of the epilogue chapter, she passes away. Very, very unfortunate. So, but yeah, we're back in production on the film, so that's what we've been doing for the last roughly 2 weeks. I haven't mentioned much about it on the podcast at all. I really haven't had an opportunity, but I've confirmed most of the original cast. I'm in the process of recasting a few people. I have one more to do. I have confirmations for all of the important stuff, and we're moving forward. So we're going to produce the first third of the movie with what we have, with one exception. I have to re-record dialogue for 2 characters, one major, one minor, and because of people either leaving us or being ejected into space.
Or both.
Well, leaving us by being ejected into space is definitely a thing. We call in space military parlance, we call that doing an unauthorized EVA without a suit. So yeah. Up late with Mace is temporarily on hold. I'm trying to restructure some of the format and actually find guests for it. So
Fair.
not much to report on that front. And like I said, Friday and Saturdays we'll return to Overwatch comp, and of course I'll be starting Drakengard 3 at 7. I don't know why I kept saying 6. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight Time, whatever the hell we're doing right now, on Facebook. Other than that, it's been movie all the way.
Okay. You're holding up okay? You've been through some stuff.
I was physically very, very ill. And, so between the abrupt passing of the artist, and she, I can't emphasize how important this was, because even though my friend Henderson, who has been working on the series diligently, he's been working on a lot of things for us diligently for a long time, stylistically, Usagi was the aesthetic that I envisioned from the beginning back in 1991 when we started this whole thing. And so losing her is an incalculable loss. Not that there's a shortage of artists out there who can produce that style. Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. I heard some weird hardware dropping in and out on me. Just making sure after my last little problem there. But
Fair.
like I said, this was an incalculable loss, because she really had that the spirit of Joji Manabe,
Mm-hmm.
and that was always from Outlanders and Caravan Kid.
Yeah, there's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
I have the entire collected graphic novel series too.
Yeah, not the
Um,
series I got introduced to. Anyway,
but she had that aesthetic, and like I said, great attitude. Really can do. Plays nicely with others. Yeah. I don't know if there's a proper way for me to memorialize a person I've only known for about a year. But it's just, yeah, so we're kind of stalled right now in the comic, which does hamper some elements of the Mercadian affair, but we will soldier on, because Oshi will help us finish it, and that's the beauty part. So
Yeah.
at least we have some way to properly memorialize the work that was done. And that is definitely the important thing. But yeah, so we did manage to keep some important actors. Richard Epcar, of course, has signed on to the film, and Chris Patton is still with us. A few other people from Funimation stayed on: Melissa Sternenberg, Caitlin French. So I think it's gonna, and of course our friend James Larrabee will return as the deliciously evil, disgraced Vice Admiral Torrance Coulson.
Mhm.
Which I think everybody thought was the highlight of that first episode. So we will definitely be retaining that performance, but with all new animation. So
Neat.
those are definitely the big things. Other than that, like I said, just trying to stay ahead of my health so I can get back to work tonight after we're done podcasting.
Okay. I'm assuming that means there is a new episode of Last News Desk.
Oh yeah, that will
Okay.
be coming up. That will be coming up soon, and not in the
Right.
Blizzard sense.
Indeed. I guess my go. Not much news-wise this week. Outside of putting out some last-minute fire tier. Like, thankfully, the family situation I mentioned last week, it stabilized itself enough, as much as possible. Though, we'll say the inevitable will happen. And to clarify, that isn't a death or anything. It's more a change in marital status, let's say.
Mm.
Still rough. Even when you're trying to keep your distance. Like, those on the game front, played enough of my game this week, where I'm satisfied in reviewing it. It's fine. It's just not my kind of game. So means I've been playing through Singularity, the Lost Raven software game that they made just before they got sent to the Call of Duty mines.
The salt mines of Call of Duty.
They were about the first to be sent there. Like, this game came out in 2010. It's been nothing but Call of Duty since then. Like, yeah, they've been spending a decade with Call of Duty. I know they've done some really good things with that franchise, and they're the lead developer on Warzone, but still, I miss classic Raven. Now, as far as Singularity,
oh, sorry.
yeah,
I was just gonna add that I'm amused by the Verdansk 1984 thing they're doing right now in Warzone.
right. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I know there are also other developers working on the content and all that stuff. That's just how the AAA stuff goes these days.
Well, it's just cool because you can play as John McClane or Rambo.
Right. Like, yeah, I've certainly seen the ads for 80s action heroes, like,
yep,
which is interesting, and I guess that's the Warzone fan base there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's like, especially since Call of Duty definitely skewed young there for a while. Like, but that was the Xbox 360 days. Anyway, as far as Singularity goes, it's basically BioShock light. Very light in certain areas, but still good. Still solid Raven stuff. It's sad that it didn't do better and got fleshed out, but apparently development was a bit of a mess. Anyway, I suppose that's it for my news. So over to the topic of discussion, and we have a lot to talk about this week, actually, because in case you missed it, we are in pre-E3 season, and indeed we've had the first events of pre-E3 season. Last week we had the 35th anniversary stream of Dragon Quest and the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog streamed. And with that, a whole slew of announcements. Some more relevant than others, especially depending on where you live. As I guess starting with Dragon Quest. First game announced was Dragon Quest Keshi Keshi, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Thing like that.
Yeah, it's the word for eraser and erase, because the gameplay it's a match 3 puzzler styled after collectible cute erasers.
Right. And this is set to be a free-to-play mobile puzzle game. So, Candy Crush. Just with, Dragon Quest flavoring and, the sketchy art style thing that they were going for here, yeah, just kind of exists.
Damn it, Ogre, put the phone down and pull the boss.
I'm like, I don't know, has Ogre commented on this one?
I think he knows about its existence, but I don't know if he's gonna go through the trouble of trying to get, the app in English
Well,
Yeah.
or
I
on a
mean,
US phone or whatever.
I'm pretty sure he watched all of that,
Mm-hmm.
like knowing Ogre, but after that was Dragon Quest X. In case you're wondering, whatever happened to Dragon Quest X, it's an MMO. It's an
like Final Fantasy XI, except they didn't think it'd be popular enough to bother localizing it in English.
and that's still the case. Like 11 years later, like I think
I am still on team. Making main numbered entries in your series online exclusives is a bad idea, but I've clearly been, overruled.
Looks over at 14.
I mean, at least 11 lived long enough to see its own end.
Which
At
is
least
what,
in one
soon?
form. No. I mean, they completed this after what was it? Expansion chapter 15. They finally wrapped up the main story and allowed you to fight the final big bad. So the
I
main
think
story
Final
is
Fantasy
complete.
XI is getting another ending, like now or soon.
As far as I know, they said that they were putting the final nail in its story coffin in 2015. And they're just letting people continue to play it because it still makes them money.
right, and indeed, the Dragon Quest X announcement here was a expansion of some kind. Look, I don't think here nobody knows about Dragon Quest X here because it's never been released here. So, yeah, the Dragon Quest X stuff just kind of washed over.
I have a physical copy of it with the 16 megabyte expansion
You're
USB
right.
drive.
I misread. I must have misread the year. Yeah, Rhapsody of Vana'diel came out in 2015.
Yeah, I actually
But on
physically had a copy of I had a physical copy of the Japanese version with the 16 gig USB drive.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Did you ever open that up?
Oh, it was open. It was a used copy. I managed to convince Bookmans to give it to me for free since it was unplayable.
Pretty much.
Convince, he says.
Yeah. Oh, hold on while I run it through my PC so I can put it through my VPN so I can play it in Japan.
And not understand a goddamn thing that's going on.
So,
I mean, if you
Dragon
knew
Quest.
Japanese. Yeah, well, I mean, that would be the same even if they localized it, right?
Dragon Quest isn't convoluted often. That's Dragon Quest is earnestly straightforward most of the time.
Obviously, you've
sometimes
never
the
played Dragon Quest.
Sometimes the things like the relationships between games might be a little bit more.
Clearly, you've never played the Terminator-esque timeline fuckery of Dragon Quest 3 and 4. Then, I mean, it has a complicated, it has a quasi-complicated time travel element to it that is.
I'm talking more like individual games, really, not the meta connections. Yeah, when you get into time travel, of course that's going to get wonky. It's time travel. When is it ever not wonky?
Right, but I'm just saying that it fundamentally shifted the entire timeline after Dragon Quest IV, was because it skewed the whole series into a new timeline.
Right.
And the fact that starting with Dragon Quest III, you could actually fuck up and get a bad ending.
Right.
Like a legitimately bad ending.
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of Dragon Quest X, there's a Dragon Quest X offline in the works, which is
so basically Final Fantasy XII.
It's supposed to be the main story of Dragon Quest X, but without the online functionality and with a like chibi art style that's
And
smaller.
incredibly boring, like Final Fantasy 12.
Honestly, I have no. See, I don't know enough about the fucking MMO to be able to say whether I think it'd be any good offline.
Like I said, nobody here knows Dragon Quest X, so we can't really judge Dragon Quest X.
Well,
And,
I'm comparing the gameplay style. If they're going to take all of the online components out of it, then essentially it's Final Fantasy 12, because Final Fantasy 12 was slated to be an online game, or it was designed like an online game, but it's a single player game that basically puts level 99 enemies outside of the level 1 village.
They're also parsing down the perspective. It's a top down thing. Look, I don't know who this is for exactly. Like,
Yeah, they literally reduced. It looks like the fucking Pokemon Gen 4 remakes or Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Switch.
yeah, especially since this is coming out only in like we're assuming it's coming out only in Japan. You know, you would think.
Well, this they didn't say it wasn't coming out in the US, unlike the actual main 10, which they specifically said still no plans for overseas release.
As long as it's better than Dragon Quest Swords.
So they haven't said they won't, but they also haven't said they will. So don't get your hopes up, but it's possible.
Square Enix has always had a position on Dragon Quest that is akin to Namco's position on the Tales series, which is we don't really need to release it other places, and then literally every other market beat them senseless until they finally decided to go ahead and do it.
That may be changing, but we'll get into that when we get into that, because well, I suppose that actually starts with the
they front loaded the shit that wasn't coming. That's definitely not coming out outside of Japan. But most of the stuff they announced actually is being released worldwide.
Simultaneous worldwide, nonetheless. You know, so yeah, I think the next thing that was announced was probably the surprise of the show. You know, not the headliner, but like the most. We had no idea this was happening, but we'll definitely take it because Dragon Quest III is getting a remake, and not just any remake. I mean, that's not anything new for Dragon Quest games. Hell, Dragon Quest III got remade as far back as the Game Boy Color.
But no, it's an HD 2D remake that looks like fucking Project Octopath Traveler, aka looks really good.
Yeah,
and not like shit like most of the previous remakes of say this exact game.
Well, it's not that they look like shit. It's they look like they were constrained by the console or handheld, more specifically, that they were put on.
There's a couple of it's like there's a couple of interesting things about that too, because it's not just a straight one-to-one remake either. It's got extra stuff in it, like Dragon Quest III for the Game Boy Color. Where there was a fundamental restructuring of the game to give you even more choices.
Right, and it remains to be seen exactly what they might be doing with this one.
Right,
but
so to call it a pure, and I'm saying this for the listeners, not for your benefit, but for the listeners' benefit, to call it a pure remake, it's not a one-to-one remake. It's not the same experience with better graphics, basically. Kind of like Dragon Quest 1 and 2 for the Super NES were when they were released in Japan.
Right.
They were a one-to-one recreation of the original game, but with vastly superior graphics. And I think they did add in one other thing, which was auto switching of targets in Dragon Quest 2. So that way, if you killed one thing, it didn't swing at empty air.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a programming upgrade.
Yep. But otherwise, it was basically the same game. It was just easier to see things because, it was visually more detailed.
Right. And
better
this
music.
doesn't have, this doesn't have a release date yet. In fact, I don't think anything got a release date here. But it's kind of immaterial because, this is more about announcing things existing than anything else. Perhaps most mysterious is Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a RPG treasure hunting adventure thing starring characters from Dragon Quest XI's, and it's apparently a prequel. But like I said,
This one reminded some people of Dragon Quest Monsters because the first one of that featured Terry, who is a side character in Dragon Quest VI, as the main character when he was a kid. So this is similarly, it's two characters from Dragon Quest XI when they're much younger, going on their own adventures somehow.
It also reminds me, interestingly enough, of a SquareSoft title, Treasure Hunter G.
Not
Which
sure
was-
if that's a coincidence or maybe something deeper. They were very cagey about this one in ways that they weren't about others. Like they didn't even announce the like if this is going to be a mobile thing or a console thing. But, all of these things were they were the appetizer to the main event, which is Dragon Quest 12. And for a logo reveal, this has gotten contentious.
Well, it's not just the logo reveal; it's the logo and the description of this is Dragon Quest for grown-ups, and we're changing the strictly turn-based battle system.
Right, but the 12 logo is emblematic of it. Like, that was the first thing
instead of having big gold number in heroic font, it's "and the earth cracked open and the magma glowed in the form of a Roman numeral 12.
So that set off a panic of ow the edge. Because, look, this is the path that we might be, or Dragon Quest 12 might be heading down. And, Dragon Quest has been like the most traditional of traditional RPG franchises. I mean, for fuck's sakes, it uses sound fonts from the NES.
And yeah, it still uses a strictly turn-based, not even active time battle system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Dragon Quest is, the closest thing we have to tradition in the RPG world, I guess, excluding, say, Pokemon. And, so there's a couple of concerns here. But also, calling it a Dragon Quest game for adults has sent the fan base into a tizzy because they will be quick to point out that, that's just a Dragon Quest game. Because Dragon Quest has never shied away from adult theme. So the concern here is more,
Are they gonna do it like for adults? Like how Family Guy is for adults.
I'd say or Shadow the Hedgehog, some sort of edge shit. And
Dragon Quest for edgelords.
Basically, I'm not and it wouldn't be the first time that Square Enix has had this mistaken belief that you have to edgelord a series to make it popular and change everything. And goddamn, fuck you, Front Mission Evolved.
Let us know how you feel.
Yeah, don't hold back now.
I won't. In terms of Front Mission Evolved, that was fucking garbage, and shouldn't have ever existed.
I mean, it's like Enix. It's like, look, Square Enix, don't you post enough edgelord stuff with the whole Nier Drakengard series?
At least that works. Like, you didn't take an established franchise and try to cater to the Western marketplace by edging it up and turning it into a third-person action game. Like,
you ever played any of the games? Because when you turn the game on and the Square Enix Presents thing comes up, it sits there. It sits there and has some fucked up piece of dialogue from the game. Play for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Front Mission Evolved got a much more conventional approach to that kind of thing. Much more, hey, let's appeal to Westerners. And that's not even the worst part of Evolved. The fact that they turned it into a generic action game instead of, the strategy game that it was for, 5 installments?
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah.
Trust me, Front Mission Evolved wasn't even terrible. It was just bland as fuck. But,
it wasn't really evolved.
No, it wasn't. It just killed the franchise because we haven't gotten another Front Mission since Evolved.
Front Mission 4 did a pretty good job of just decimating the series, though. Nobody ever talks about it. It came out on the PlayStation 2, and I remember it being vaguely horrible.
Well, whatever was left, it was killed by this thing. So,
yeah. Well, everybody was convinced, though. In fairness, everybody was convinced that
I know.
Hold on a second. There's another Square Enix title that I'm thinking of. They thought that Unlimited Saga was going to be the end of the series, and then all of a sudden, 7 years later,
I can't say have we gotten a new Saga game? I know they've been remaking all the old ones, but it's not exactly the same thing as getting a new one.
Right.
Anyway, and to cap off the Dragon Quest stuff, I'm not sure if it was I'm trying to remember if it was announced after or if it was announced at the event, but we did get confirmation that a new Dragon Quest Monsters is in development.
Yeah, and they also teased that they'll probably do HD 2D versions of 1 and 2.
Right. But
I'm sorry. I was also thinking of Children of Mana.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Unlimited Saga did kill forward momentum for the Saga series.
No, they actually did some re-releases. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend, December 15, 2020. Imperial Saga Eclipse came out in 2019, and Romancing Saga Reuniverse came out in 2018. Scarlet Grace came out in 2016. Imperial Saga in 2015. Emperor Saga in 2012. Minstrel Song in 2005. So it's had at least 6 mainline releases since then.
Anyway.
So I stand corrected on 2 fronts. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, anyway, so that's the Dragon Quest stuff that happened last week. 6 hours later, we got the Sonic stream.
Yay, Sonic.
Well, it's I suppose, in a sign of things improving, they didn't absolutely piss over themselves like they did with the 25th anniversary.
I'm still shocked there aren't the staff from that being, crucified on the wall.
That was Konami 2010 E3 levels of bad and weird. Anyway, so I suppose the big thing that got announced out of that particular stream, there was a whole bunch of Sonic stuff, a lot more sprinkles this time around because Sonic joins Tokyo 2020. Not the Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games, but the proper Tokyo 20 Olympics game that's coming out this month, with the realistic athletes and all that. That's getting a Sonic costume.
Not like a skin costume, literally costume for your actual human athlete character to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Because sure, why not?
Yeah, Sonic DLC for 2 Point Hospital. Congratulations to 2 Point Hospital. I've heard good things about it, but I haven't actually played 2 Point Hospital yet. Apparently, Sonic Fighters is going to be playable in Lost Judgment.
Not gonna lie, when they put the rated M thing on for that, I nearly had a heart attack just that they were re-releasing Shadow only with rated M. Like, oh no. Oh no.
Understandable. Like, I've actually played Sonic Fighters in the arcade. Has anyone else played Sonic Fighters?
PS3 version.
Like, don't know how that one sussed out. The arcade version was okay, like for a gimmick fighter, but I definitely saw why it didn't become a thing. Outside of a curio, it's not a very good fighting game on its own. Now, it's kind of like if they licensed Sonic to be in a fighting game rather than it being a Sonic fighting game, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the sprinkles. The not necessarily biggest news, but the most welcome news, once again, it's something in the midsection, is that Sonic Colors is getting a remake. Or a remastering, whatever you want to call that thing this week.
One of the good Sonic 3D games are coming back.
Yeah, Sonic Colors Ultimate, which has been up to this point stuck on the Wii. And yes, also the DS, but
we don't talk about that version.
Well, it's also Sega might have difficulty releasing that version because Sonic games were kind of built around the two screens. And that's a big reason why you don't see a lot of DS and 3DS ports to other systems, because a lot of them made use of both screens. But this is about the DS version.
Yeah, you'd have to scroll up and down very rapidly all the time if you wanted to make a HD version of Sonic Rush.
Also, unlike anything else,
it would be perfect on a vertical phone screen.
Yeah, and this actually got a release date. It's September 7th, 2021, with a bit of a caveat, because the Epic Games Store grabbed this, and that's its own dumpster fire. Like, independent of the Sonic fan base for once. That's just... It's weird. It's nice that I can say that.
Yeah.
It's just, whenever Epic Games grabs something, it's this whole fucking conversation. We've had this on the show before. Like, don't fucking send death threats to developers just because they picked a different storefront. That happened.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't poke the bear in the cage with Apple.
Yes. Sonic Origins is coming in 2022. Sonic Origins is a new compilation that's Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles. That's the big draw here because Sonic 3 and Knuckles has kind of been stuck in the void for about a decade, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Now, the popular conventional wisdom is that it's over music rights, Michael Jackson involvement, but we don't actually know that, at least at this point. We'll get a confirmation if the soundtrack has been changed in this version.
Mm-hmm.
But what can be said is something has been going on around Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So this is its first re-release since the Steam version back in 2011 or so. And keep in mind, the Steam version, that's just the Genesis ROM file.
Yep.
There was a bit of confusion over this, but it has been confirmed by the Sonic the Hedgehog brand people that this will be in widescreen.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sega kind of fucked that up by showing the
original.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't in a state to be shown, but they didn't clarify that until after, like when somebody on social media had to say, yes, it's in widescreen. Also worth noting, Sonic CD is going to be part of this package.
Oh man.
Oh man. Or as I like to call it, slow Sonic.
I'd
Have
like to
they
call
said
it
if it's going to be the Christian Whitehead version or the original CD
I-
version?
I think these are the remade versions. I think that that's the other thing. The Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 are looking to be the Christian Whitehead versions. Those have been stuck on mobile for fucking ever. I mean, keep in mind, Sonic CD got a Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Steam re-release, which was the Christian Whitehead version. We do not know why they didn't do that for 1 or 2 up until this point. But I mean, that's kind of the big sell here. It's not just that they are re-releasing Sonic games because, on balance, this is a pretty shitty Sonic compilation. If that were the case, because I mean, for fuck's sakes, the Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube or the Sonic Mega Collection Plus had all of the fucking Genesis Sonic games, including Sonic 3D Blast. Look, it didn't have Sonic CD. No, I'll grant you that, but the Sonic Gems collection fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
But what that did have is extra games and so on and so forth. This is just pure Sonic. So I suppose that's good. That's good. But on the other hand, Rise Star was a really good game as well. Anyway, that's coming in 2022. Okay, Sonic joins PlayStation Now and Amazon Luna. Who cares? DLC for mobile Sonic titles, Sonic the Hedgehog and Minecraft. Yeah, once again, more sprigs. The headlining announcement was, well, like the Dragon Quest announcement, a new Sonic game, a new mainline Sonic game. Sonic 2022, for lack of a better term.
There are current suspicions that it might be Sonic Rangers or Sonic Chaos or something, but we'll fucking see.
Yeah. Look, the only thing we saw from Sonic, from this new Sonic game, is the same goddamn teaser that they've been doing since Sonic 06. I don't know why.
Sonic running through the woods real fast, and then this time at the end he does runs in a weird pattern and leaves an after image that is presumably something to do with the game's logo or something, but it's unclear because you can't even necessarily see the whole thing through the fucking trees.
Yeah, who gets excited for this anymore?
I like the voice break there.
The only really particularly possibly interesting thing is that Sonic looked like he might have been somewhere between the modern and classic designs as currently seen everywhere.
As long as he's not the original Paramount
Even
design.
that's just a maybe.
Well, it's also, let's not forget, Sonic is coming off of another fucking downswing because remember, the last 3D game Sonic had was Sonic Forces. Yeah, it's not an absolute shit pile like other Sonic games, but that was still a fairly mediocre experience, bundled up in about 2 hours of gameplay. What have
Now
you?
remind me again, you're talking about that Sonic OC creator that had a story mode that nobody liked?
Basically.
yes.
And where they thought Sonic was dead for a while. Again.
Yeah.
When did they think he was dead? I thought they were pretty clear on the fact that he was being tortured in Eggman's prison for a couple years.
Something like that.
Dear
It
God.
looked like it was going real edgy, then it pulled back because it turns out the torture was tickling.
Pinky.
Also, they keep trying to make Zaz a thing. I don't know why.
Stop trying to make the Zeddy a thing. They're not going to be a thing.
Yeah, or Zavok, or whichever one it was.
You already gave up on all of them except for Zavok.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, my point is, that was not good, and it was also an indication that what does Sonic Team want to do with this fucking creature at this point? Because you keep
he's not even a good underling for Eggman.
Yeah.
Because he kind of wasn't in the first game. They kind of were just tolerating him.
Yeah, if given the opportunity, he probably would have broken Eggman's neck.
Uh, anyway, so yeah, that's about all the stuff that got announced this past week. And has pointed out, it's E3 season, so expect more stuff because E3 isn't just E3 this year. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, and we do intend on covering some of that.
Emphasis on some of that.
Get me some of that.
Anyway, so that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments Silicon. The week ahead, let's see, we do have a Friday interview. Again, yeah, we'll be having the return of Mache. I think that's how that's pronounced. Machek? Like, of movie game. Yeah, Mache. Of movie games. We had him on the program not long ago. You know, that went into unexpected territories because that ended up more of a conversation on the business of video games and localization. You know, we talked so much about that, we didn't actually get to the games we were supposed to cover. So we hope to do that here. Like, and coming up on the Sunday reviews, we will have reviews of Sunblaze, Trials and Traces, The Tomb of Thomas 2. Yeah, somebody really loved the alliteration there. Biomutant, and we will have impressions of Hotlays. And yeah, we also do have a new episode of The Last News That's on Left happening in about 30 minutes. So until then, I shall wish you good gaming.